Hello, Andy Rray here, and in this week's episode I'm starting to actually make some music. Hello, so in last week's episode I was moaning about the fact that the music I create I don't like and I don't think it's very good. I've had lots of encouragement following that, saying that the list of artists and the kind of music that I subscribe to listen to that I enjoy obviously is created by people who find it natural to make that kind of music, and I shouldn't compare myself to them. Before what they find natural and I find unnatural is not going to be easy for me to then try and fit into those styles or to create music, as I say, that sounds free and improvised when mine sounds lumpy and generic. And I think this is true of any artist. By comparing yourself, it's good to have benchmarks, but it's more important to find your own identity. And that's what I've been doing this week, trying to find my own sonic identity, the things that I enjoy, how I can translate what I hear around me into something that I think is worth sharing with you. Another valid point is that by making a YouTube video basically slating my own music, it's going to frame it for you. And so then when you go onto SoundCloud to listen to my original tracks, you're going to have that overarching sentiment that actually the creator said this music is no good. So therefore you're not going to like it. So I take back some of what I said, and it does apply to my older stuff, but having gone through my hard drive and listened to some older material, I'm very pleasantly surprised. As I described in last episode, I've amassed a huge collection of self-produced tracks. One of the many problems that anybody like me faces is making the choice to work on my own as a producer. I'm far too old to be trying to form a band or a collective with anybody, and for most people who are interested in making music, this is what we do. We surround ourselves with this equipment and we get our heads stuck in our monitor and our monitors, and we come out with stuff. And some of us are more talented or more in tune with what's happening and are able to create better music, and I explored some themes of that in the last episode. But what it means for me is that without much intention, all I've done is created lots and lots of music. However, when I go back and listen to some of that music, it's not half bad. And it's typical that I've finished at a point sometimes working on a track and it's not been very good, so I've walked away from my computer and I have those residual memories, and so next time I go to open up a project, I've still got those memories about the fact that I can't produce and I can't make music, and that is not true. So I've been listening to my older stuff with an idea of revitalizing what I want to do. So just I've got hard drives full of it, but just here's some stuff, there's from 2016, there's this. And I like that. That's really good. I mean, it's got the most bizarre title, The Distorted Perambulator of Nothing, but that's what's wrong with that? That's great. That's shit. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, in the right context. What else we got? So, as I say, there's hard drives full of it. That's from 2016, 4 years ago. And I kind of, if you listen to the music, definitely 2018, 2019, I completely lost the plot. It's just the music is rubbish. But there is really good stuff. So that's inspired me. So that's what I'm going to work on going forward. So listening to those tracks and listening to music that I like, there's one thing that has become clear. I'm very interested in repetition, which is handy if you were making music that might be orientated towards the dance floor, but even so it has something that is engaging. So repetition in electronic music is well documented. It's part of the reason of its appeal, and I find it very appealing. Repetition building up. I was really into Philip Glass and his way of using repetition and other composers like that. So that's become apparent in listening to some of the tracks that I have recorded in the past. And I'm also very interested in chord progressions, but the chord progressions that may be based on sampled chords. So if you on a keyboard and you go between two chords, there are intervals, and depending on the tuning and the scale that you're using, there's set ways that notes move within chords. With sampled chords, you're moving things not musically, but within certain frequency ranges, and there are numerous articles, and I'll post some links about them, how it works. But a lot of early house music was created using sampled chords, and so you get different juxtapositions between the positions of the chords. And listening to some of what I've been doing, although I've been using sample chords, I've been using what's called chord hold, where you can create a chord and then use that just to bounce up and down the keyboard, harking back to old 90s house. And I've been doing a lot of that, apparently, listening to my tracks on my hard drive. So those are two elements that I'm interested in exploring. They have a nod to the dance floor, but also could create something that's slightly easier just to listen to in other environments. So with that in mind, I resurrected a track from I think it's 2017, and I've been working on that recently. So I found the old Ableton file, tarted it up a bit, and had a listen to it. It is based on sample chord, because this is actually a chord from a sample pack, and I was obviously titting around with it and moved it around, and then I've worked out the notes, and I've arranged that into an actual MIDI file, which you can see on this track that's called Massive, to create something quite weird. So if I stop everything, I'll play the. It's just a chord moving around, and then I've created the chords to go on top. You can't hear it very well, but in the track itself, so it's repetition and those big kind of odd samply chords, and I quite like it. Paintbrush, very important. So to finish, the idea of doing this blog, vlog, whatever you want to call it, is to emulate the Gary Vee sentiment about documenting, not creating. So I'm trying to make music, and I'm trying to make a living off music, and this is my attempt to document all that process. I think it's a good idea as part of that if we end up with a task for me every week that I have to go on and fulfill for the next episode. This definitely then helps me look at the marketing plan that I shared with you, and action various points, and let's get this going on the roadmap kind of thing. So with that in mind, I've set myself 2 tasks for the coming week. The first task is to finish off the track that I briefly played for you earlier on. I really like it. It's a start. So I'm going to finish that and I'm going to home master it and put it up on SoundCloud. The second task is to look at my website and incorporate some means of capturing email addresses. I mentioned this in a couple of episodes ago. It's extremely important for any business, like brand, whatever, to be able to capture email addresses, to build up a mailing list. I know the various technologies that are available to do so, so I'm just going to do some research and see what the best fit for me is. Now, I'm probably going to use Sendy for this, which is a hosted email server. So it's not like a web-based one like MailChimp or Aweber or something. I do have a license for it that I used on another website, so I might just port that over. Anyway, that's my task, one of my tasks for this week. So in the next episode, you'll see how I got on. Thanks for watching, and as always, if you like, please then subscribe to the channel, and if you've missed any of the episodes in this series so far, you can tap or click to see the previous episodes. Take care.